that's, that we haven't done prior. They are giving the gun safety deal again, the grant application for that process. So that's, I can't remember how many, gun safes that they passed out last time, but it was a bunch. And so,
A lot.
yeah, it's good. All right. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. All right. So next is public comment. If you have a public comment, we ask you to come to the front, state your name, where you live, and you have a few minutes to discuss with us what you have on your mind. One more time. Yeah, public comment. Anybody got any public comment? All right, hearing none. General discussion from the commissioners. You guys have anything you would like to state?
None for me.
You're good? All right. Well, so you can, always enjoy on yesterday getting to go to the Veterans Memorial deal where they, we started taking our kids there a few years ago, and I always enjoy that. You got some family members that you get to hear their names mentioned, and just kind of a somber moment, but a proud moment at the same time. So I always enjoy all the festivities, but that one's in particular one of my favorites. So, all right, we do have a public hearing at 8:45, so we will get through some of these, if not all of them, prior to that. Tom, you want to come? So Moffett County Tourism Association, Tom Kleinsnitz. He wants to honor service of a former board member. Or I just want to.
Okay. Again, I'm Tom Kleinsnitz, Director of Moffett County Tourism. I want to thank the commissioners for their time this morning to acknowledge the service of a longtime board member of MCTA. Tammy Thompson Booker served 5 3-year terms for MCTA for a total of 15 years of service to the tourism industry and to the people of Moffett County. Tammy also served during that time the governor-appointed member of the Colorado Tourism Board. I think that should be acknowledged, and a big time for, she did that for 3 years. That is always wonderful to have somebody on that board from Moffett County. It raises Moffett County's profile on a statewide platform. Tammy was known as a critical thinker on the board and was never subject to the notion of groupthink that plagues many similar boards. There was if there was a change in direction or a major change in the addition of a new vendor or a new direction for the board, Tammy was always very attentive and very detail oriented. She offered independent thought and into important board decisions. So she was always very pointed in looking at critically at what things were going. And many times a board does have a groupthink situation where people just go along with the director or just go along with what goes on. We all know Tammy very well, that she was very, very much somebody that had an opinion and it was an active member of the board. When I arrived at MCTA as a new director, Tammy was the board chair. Initially, I held a temporary position. With the position, I was hired through Flint Personnel Services. That did require that somebody, the chairman, sign off on my time card on a weekly basis. And that was never a problem with Tammy. She always stopped by and signed my card and got that done. And you know, as a new employee and somebody that's had something, a little bit of paperwork like that, that was really wonderful for her to not only sign off on that every week, but spend some time with me each week and kind of making sure that I was getting underway and doing well with my new position. Initially, I found the MCTA position through Tammy at a Club 20 meeting. At the time, I was serving as Club 20's Tourism Committee Chair. The timing for MCTA was perfect for me. I'll always be grateful for Tammy for making that connection and giving me the opportunity to apply for the position and return to Craig in Moffat County. Tammy did participate in a Lador trip where we had people from many state positions that came up, and she did that 4-day trip. When she was on that trip, she was first up in the morning. She was there with coffee and greeting people like we would have pride in anybody greeting people from Moffat County and guests from around the state. She did a great job on that trip, and I found that was quite an asset there. Should note today that Tammy also serves the people of Moffat County currently on the local marketing district, and she continues that work today. So it should be noted that Tammy's board seat remains unfilled at this time. Some people have expressed interest in serving that position, but as your direction and in our bylaws, that person should be somebody from the lodging industry, and we still are challenged to get somebody from lodging to come and serve on that position. So we would hope that we receive an application from somebody that would be dedicated to tourism and lodging industry, just as Tammy was. And I would open myself up to any questions concerning this acknowledgement and any additional comments any of you might have for the acknowledgement of her service.
Well, for me, I know one thing you can't take away from her. She cared about her community. So obviously she's done a lot, and hats off to that.
Yeah, I think it's tough when you're losing that knowledge of the lodging industry too. It'll be tough to replace that.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to find that local, we no longer really have local owners of our hotels, and that's another challenge. And getting some of our managers to step into the position, they all look at me and say, I am so busy and so overwhelmed that I would have a tough time with that obligation. But we've got to twist somebody's arm, and because I think personally, as a director, having somebody in lodging would be very important to be on the board.
Yeah, Tammy, when I was on that board and chaired that board, when Mel was the director, Tammy was on that board. Seems like she's always been on that board. That was years ago, but always an asset, right? And, and full of knowledge and passionate, right? You can say opinionated or passionate, whichever one you want. But I think the reality is she stood on what she believed, and you can never criticize somebody for standing for what they believe, and appreciate that. And hopefully, fingers crossed that you guys find somebody that is as passionate as Tammy is to fill that seat. We sat on a lot of boards where people just sit on boards.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people occupy space.
Yeah, they occupy space, but they're not really passionate. And that's the worst, because it just causes you more work,
So we do have a plaque that we put together with the Eagle. That is something that would ask that all of you somehow get that to Tammy. She's no longer comes to our board meetings, but if you could convey that to her with our appreciation, we'd be there. Our current chairman, John Husband, is here. Do you have any comments?
Hard to add anything to that. Yeah, Tammy was such a great resource. She has a lot of knowledge, that she can impart to the board. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Neil, you got 5 minutes. You good?
yep.
All right. Neil, Office of Development Services, Neil Binder, bid recommendation for tractor and mini excavator for Moffat County Parks Departments.
Good morning. All right, so just a background on this. We originally were budgeting for solely a tractors. And in talking with a couple of our different dealers through town, it was brought to my attention that we could probably, with the budget that we had, get 2 pieces of equipment. Try to make their jobs with the facilities a little bit easier with an excavator. And so, with that being said, we went out to bid on April 16th, and we closed bids on May 1st. And during that time, we did receive 6 different bids, which I was very, very impressed with. I expected to maybe get the locals and that was it. And so with that, we were able to come in under budget by about $10,000 with 2 pieces of equipment. That also has a tractor that we will be trading in. Tractors right now, the used tractor market is just through the roof. So that is why we were able to do what we did. And so with that, lowest bid for the tractor with trade-in was US Tractor here in Craig. The tractor is $55,571.22 with a trade-in of our used tractor of $40,071.22. So just roughly about $15,000 for a brand new tractor. That's pretty darn good. And then on the mini excavator, low bid was Severson Bobcat here in town at $51,784.42. So I am looking for questions, and
Is it the same size as a tractor
it is the exact same size
that they
tractor.
have out there?
Yep.
They don't have a mini, they do have kind of a mini X. It's not really a mini X, but
They have a backhoe on the back of that tractor, and
yeah.
a Mini X is going to be way more efficient for them. And on top of that, saves them time because they don't have to take the backhoe off just to put an implement on.
Or go to Road and Bridge and beg to borrow one.
Exactly.
That's what's happened in the past, you
And
know.
then
Yep.
trailer it to and from and.
Yep. And so by taking that backhoe attachment off, that helped also. You know, that's a pretty pricey piece of equipment to add to a tractor. So
Yeah, for sure.
uh,
We'll probably need two motions, I'm assuming, because they are
separate.
separate places, so.
Yep.
What is our pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to go with the bid recommendation with Severson's for a mini X for $51,784.42 for the mini X.
Second.
Motion in a second. Severson's for the mini X, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to go with US Tractor or the tractor for $55,571.22.
I'll second that.
Motion in a second. Noted that in these two motions that it's $10,000 under budgets, which is
Yep. So we,
two pieces of equipment.
so we were budgeted for that tractor $75,000. And we came in after trade-in at $67,284. So pretty darn good.
Good trade.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Senor.
Thank you.
Look at there. It is
For a public hearing.
time for a public hearing, yeah. Little bit. Yeah. All right. All right, let the record show today's posted public hearing regarding a special event liquor license, Craig Chamber of Commerce for a beer garden at the Whittle the Wood Rendezvous at Loudy Simpson Park, June 21st and 22nd. The notices were, for the special event liquor license was posted in at least 10 days prior to this hearing per CRS 44-5-0106. Once the public hearing has been declared, I will ask Moffett County Clerk and Recorder Stacy Morgan to present to the Board of County Commissioners the request as submitted. Once the presentation is complete, the commissioners may ask questions or make comments. I will then ask the audience if there is anyone who wants to testify either for or against. Any citizen of Moffett County may testify once the public hearing has been declared and all the information has been presented. For those who want to testify, you'll be asked to approach the commissioners, state your name for the record, and will be given 3 minutes to present your testimony either for or against. The timekeeper will notify the Board of County Commissioners and the speaker that 20 seconds remain before your time is up. No decision will be made during the public hearing. This is an opportunity for any one of you to provide testimony in favor or opposition for the proposed request. The commissioners have the option of asking questions or answering questions related to the topic during the hearing process. Once all the testimony has been heard, the public hearing will be declared closed and we will go back into regular session, and I will then refer back to the board for discussion and a decision on said proposal. So we are in public hearing. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning. So I am here today to see if we can get the special events permit authorized for the Craig Chamber of Commerce. They're going to have their annual beer garden out at Loudy for the Whittle the Wood Rendezvous. And unfortunately, no one was, they had a death in the family, Brittany did, so she wasn't able to make it today. So other than that, we're just requesting permission.
Okay. Any questions?
No, it won't be any different than any other year.
All right. I think that's all we need. That was something that we've done every year for a long time, so
Yeah.
we'll ask the audience if they have any comments.
Yeah, changes.
But anyone would like to testify either for or against the liquor license, the special liquor license for Whittle the Woods? One more time. Anyone like to testify either for or against the special liquor license? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Stacy. We will come out of public hearing. And what is the desire of the board?
Chair, I'll make the motion. Approve the special events permit for Craig Chamber of Commerce for the Whittle of the Wood Beer Garden.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, now Becky. We have a last on our agenda, kind of a short meeting. County Attorney Rebecca Tyree requesting the waiving of bid process for independent contractor to provide professional services as a special county attorney, and the possible approval of proposal pending agreement by all parties, authorizing one commissioner to sign. There you
Good
go.
morning.
The floor is yours.
All right. We have not had the assistant county attorney for some time, and we've had a lot of work. So after no one applied for the last job, well, we had 2 paralegals apply and then one person who wasn't licensed in Colorado and had almost no experience. Kristen and I think Ms. Villard spoke, and also with you guys, that we would go out and see if someone would contract for the position. As of Thursday, we had one person apply who is very highly qualified. She's a certified child welfare law specialist, less experience with child support and adult protection or public assistance, but she has 23 years of experience in child protection. And she came to cover a court case, found out we might be looking, and she expressed interest. We put it out for bid. I'm asking the bid process be waived because even though this was posted in the paper twice, there was only 9 days for that period. Normally the county policies have 10 days to be able to give a response. the wrinkle in the whole situation is Miss Merrill, the county paralegal, is on vacation, and I don't know where the key to our mailbox is. I've called maintenance this morning. They don't know where the key to our mailbox is. So I could have had another applicant on Friday. But I still think because it's not till June 11th that you meet again, I'd like you to authorize one commissioner to sign if she's the only applicant. There may be a competitor, but I don't know until I can check the mail.
And if there is, then you go to interviews, I guess, huh?
Then we'd have to have a process.
Yep.
If we only have one applicant, if there is only one applicant, my request today is that you waive the normal bid process by shortening it from 10 days to 9 days for a response. And that and then that if Ms. Grajeda, the DHS director, is in agreement, I think she's well qualified. You see her qualifications. If you think she's well qualified, that one commissioner could sign off on her proposal. So that's my request, because that would mean coverage sooner for that department.
Any discussion? Concerns? Thoughts?
No, I think it's just gonna be harder to recruit and get someone. I mean, if we've got someone that's interested, we shouldn't be spending a ton of time looking nationwide for someone who hasn't already been here and knows
Yeah.
what they're getting into.
Yeah, I will add, she lives in Dillon, so it's a pretty good drive, but she's willing to come, especially in the summer, which it is now. She could come more often. She will charge for travel time, so that's part of her proposal, but
Above and beyond the flat rate.
I think it is above and beyond the flat rate. So she'd like to do most of her work from a distance, and maybe it isn't clear, but we can talk about that in negotiations too, so.
Because that would be hard to budget for.
She says that however, the county prefers an hourly rate. I propose 200 an hour for legal work
Yeah, $100
and
an hour. for
100
travel.
an hour for travel.
Otherwise, their contract amount is $7,100 a month or $85,200 a year. So,
Yeah.
yes. So it depends on what negotiations are. And maybe that's something we should talk about right now. Do you have a preference?
Well, I rather do the flat rate because I mean, her coming here is not going to change. It's going to be caseload, right?
It'll be the
Right, so-
caseload.
If we just do the flat rate, then if she has to come 3 days or 5 days or whatever, that's going to be on her. If not.
Yeah.
And with today's technology, you can get on the
Yes,
WebEx and not have to be at every single one, right? So.
right.
And she does this for, if this is the same person, she does this for multiple counties.
She does this for,
It's not like this.
It's
is
not like
the
it's a
first
full-time
time she's
job.
ever done it.
and what I found out from her is people that I used to know were assistant county attorneys like in Clear Creek County. They don't have those positions anymore. They do the contract route. She pointed out to me the flat rate has an advantage in that there's no extra cost to call her. So if people have questions, they're not going to be charged by the hour to call. It's a flat rate. Just go ahead and call. I think that's a good idea.
And that is about a $15,000 to $20,000 savings from what we were doing. So I
I
mean,
think that's right.
in the flat rate. So it's kind of a win-win, I think,
Okay.
Right.
but I guess in negotiations, we can meet and talk about that later.
Yeah, we
As you
can't,
start the negotiations, right?
right. But if we accept this, then we have somebody in place faster.
Yep.
So,
What do you think? You like the flat rate or the hourly? Yeah, so I think you got a consensus here of
Okay.
flat rate, right?
Yes.
So,
okay.
any other questions for Mrs. Irene? Okay. Look for a motion.
You're on a roll.
Go ahead. You got the, Randall West A's fog there.
And because I haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah.
You think I need some practice? Mr. Chair, I would move to waive the bid process for the independent contractor to provide professional services as a special county attorney as presented this morning.
And if approved,
Do you want me to do it as one motion?
I think so. I think.
Okay. And if approved, to authorize one commissioner to sign at that time.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion and second. Motion to waive the bid process for the independent contractor and that if the proposal is approved by all parties, one commissioner can sign on their behalf. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That is all we have on our agenda this morning. Next meeting Tuesday, June 11th, 2020.